Before I make this video, I want to say that I'm an absolute fucking retard because I made this video beforehand without realising I took my fucking mic out the entire time. And I'm a fucking idiot. So, anyway, I was thinking of introducing a new character and I had to kind of juggle where this is going to start because as we all know, Skyrim isn't made to be played by multiple different characters in the one save. But it definitely can work. It's just a matter of trying to figure out story perspectives, where it fits and where it doesn't fit. Now, the character I want to introduce is this beast. So, basically, he's a second era assassin, vampire. Around the time of ESO, his name is Aurelius Farn, but he's now known as a contractor. And he joined Abnathan's daughter in serving Menamarco and Merleg Ball, and he was an assassin for him. And he became a vampire to basically up his odds and beat death, so to say, since, Menamarco's a lich and stuff like that. He became a vampire. Now, his armour kind of looks like worm cult armour from that time. Back then, it'd be commonly known as worm cult armour. But now, during the modern time of Skyrim, it's not really known for that at all, because that worm cult has been gone for like 1,000 years. Now, he hasn't lived entirely for that long, but he has been up and about here and there in certain moments of history. And when shit gets too hot, he goes into hibernation to where he finds his cave, he blocks it off, and he goes to sleep, and he gets woken up during 200 years later or so by another vampire that he turned, or whatever. Unfortunately, the vampire that was meant to wake him up was killed during the Oblivion Crisis before then, or whatever, so he didn't get the chance to be woken up during a ripe time to get some gold or get some fame or infame. And so he accidentally woke up in the times of Skyrim when someone actually found his tomb and stole his gold and opened his tomb up and woke him up and unfortunately became breakfast for him. And he heard about Skyrim being in a civil war, and well, he goes where the opportunities are ripe, and civil war is always in need of assassins. And he's a very callous assassin, so he's a fucking, like, if someone wanted to hurt a Jarl by putting a contract in their 3-year-old daughter for 750 gold, he'd kill that kid, no questions asked. Not a single care in the world. He's been alive for so long, and he never cared about people in the first place, that it's easy. He doesn't care. People are ants to him, and they are ants that will give him gold. Assassination for him it's his way of life. It's his purpose, so he'll do it. He doesn't care. He's actually going to be my first bisexual male character. Now I'm a straight dude. I don't really want to have film scenes like I do with the girls, where he's smashed up against a bloke's cheeks. But if the story permits it, and if it's a certain story that makes sense, then I'll do it. But of course, I want to make a game. I want to make a story that's kind of down to earth, which kind of feels a bit real, even though it's in a fantasy setting. Because not everyone's going to be straight. Not everyone's going to be gay. Not everyone's going to be bi. There's going to be a mix between all over the place. And he comes from the Empire. And I've said this in previous videos, that the Empire doesn't care who you sleep with. They never have. As long as you benefit the Empire. Or you're not out there to cause trouble for the Empire. I don't care who you lay with. It's never been seen as different or weird or anything like that. So he's woken up and he's found himself in Skyrim, and he'll join the Dark Brotherhood. But the matter is trying to fit his story into my overall story, because again, the Brotherhood's a bit of a situation to where you've killed the Emperor in like 6 fucking missions. So I got to spread his entire story over time and make sure he doesn't interfere with other stories and this and that I've set up. So what I actually now I talked like this for like 15 friggin' minutes, man, without realising that my microphone was muted because I'm a fucking idiot. Now, I had to come here to think about how his story is going to start, where it's going to start, what's he going to do, blah blah blah. Now, what I want him to do is I want him to join Skyrim. Now, it could be like, I could start his character in a couple of days. This is probably, I don't even know when I really want to start the Dragonborn story, but his is going to start after it. Well, not really, it's going to start before it, but it's going to take off after it. I could have him join right now, and it's the 6th month of 201, and I kind of want the Dragonborn to head off and explore on her own for about a month or two before winter comes. And she's not known as the Dragonborn, she's just an explorer exploring the world before she joins a certain group of hunters. Now, all that crap aside, what I really want to do is have him join the right time and finish at the right time, then join again, then finish at the right time. Now, all my guild characters will always, they will find their way to the Dragonborn somehow sooner or later. My Mage's guild character, she'll hear the Dragonborn come in with a small amount of team and trying to find information on Elder Scrolls. She'll be, Minerva will be inside the library. This is a big spoiler fucking thing if you... it's not a movie, not a book, so you can definitely enjoy yourself and hear where the story's going. She's in the library and she's doing some research trying to find the mask, which you've no doubt seen, or will see in the couple, either next chapter or the chapter after. She's always on the journey to find more masks. And more secret histories give her reasons to go explore and find artifacts and blah blah blah. And she overhears and she sees like a young Nord come in, doesn't look like a mage, with a couple other people that definitely don't look like mages, and she kind of has her big pointy elven ears and kind of listens in to listen that the Dragonborn is talking to the librarian about finding an Elder Scroll, and she reads a book and talks about Septimus Cygnus, and well, before she leaves, the elf basically hails her down and says, I can help you out. I'm actually the Archmage, let me talk to Septimus Cygnus for you. And that's how she joins the group. Now, Thief's character, who I haven't started yet, I'm going to completely redesign her, and I'll do a video for that one too. She has done the entire quest by then, right? She has become the guild leader, and she has restored the power structure of the Thieves Guild back into Skyrim. Now, she's in the bar having a drink. This Nord comes in, asks a few questions about a Dragonborn or an old man, and she knows this contract with the old man. She keeps kind of in the back distance, not really, like keeping an eye on it and listening, but not interfering. And she sees Falmor come in, because at this time the Empire run Riften and they can easily walk in. And she's a bit like, what the shit? And there's another people walk in, a young Nord woman with a small team of an Imperial and a Stormcloak, and asks questions about the old man too. And she goes, holy shit, that right there, that's the Dragonborn. So the Dragonborn goes in to find the old man. She goes back to her quarters, chucks on a Nightingale gear, and hides in the shadows. And then when the Nord spy goes, that's her right there, that's the Dragonborn, and the Falmor try to kill her, basically she comes out of the shadows and kills them. She ambushes them. Now, the team's like, what the fuck? Where'd that come from? Who was that? And they walk upstairs to basically go right into the Ragged Tavern, and she hears a whisper, someone calling out the Dragonborn in the darkness. And I love it because the armor I have for this is the Nightingale Prime gear from Zero Frost. And oh man, it looks absolutely sick. Like in the darkness, this thing is black. This shit is Batman. And you can see this small little glint of like a white shine from the eyes of the armor, and it looks scary as fuck. And that's what I'm going to have for her. So these two characters join up. The Harbinger, I think, he will track down the Dragonborn because it's for honor's sake. The dragons have returned, and he doesn't want Whiterun to burn down. He wants to aid Skyrim for glory's sake and for honourable sake and all this sort of crap. So he'll find the Dragonborn in his own way. But like I said, the Dark Brotherhood character, he does not care. He aided in the plane mold. He doesn't care at the end of the world. Hell, if someone put a fucking high price on the Dragonborn, it'd kill her. And he definitely would have the power or the skill too, if she's on her own, if she hasn't got a big team with her. Now, he won't join. So I've got to find out where to start the quest. I could start it before the Civil War's still going strong halfway through the year. And basically what I decided I was going to do is I was going to start it and stop it here. So I've done quite a bit throughout the few months. It's got the winter, right? And then meet Montier and finding he wants assassinated. You learn that he wants Emperor dead, but the Emperor's nowhere near in Skyrim. Maybe he's scheduled for another yearly visit, or he's scheduled for a while away until at least the Civil War's done. But that's not known. So the whole idea is to kind of speed up his arrival to Skyrim, and you're contracted with killing Victoria. Now, another problem arises. Victoria hasn't got a known wedding date because of the Civil War, right? So it's like, oh, here's an if and if, like I can't kill her because I need to be very public. I need to be a ceremony between the two sides to kind of get the Emperor here real quick. So they only decide to get married, whatever the fuck her name is, and her snow-shad husband, when the peace treaty comes along with the Dragonborn. So the Dragonborn are sort of at peace between the Empire and the Stormcloaks, and they're both getting along because both sides want the Dragonborn to join their side at the end of this dragon conflict. And they won't betray each other, because if they do, then they lose the Dragonborn support for betrayal. And that's the last thing you want. You don't want your enemy having the Dragonborn, because the Dragonborn's a god card. Friggin' Talos was a Dragonborn, and he conquered all of Tamriel, so whoever's got the Dragonborns, they win within a week. Now, again, when the peace treaty comes along, they finally decide to get married, and that's when the Brotherhood can operate and do this thing. This will speed the Emperor's arrival up, also with the peace treaty. Now, this could be a year after the meeting with Montier. Now, they've assassinated Victoria. They've killed Commander Mario's son, right? And he's exploring also Stormcloak cities because they're allowing him to, because of the peace treaty. It's showing that, alright, he's going to go into these cities and see if there's lots of troops there, so they're not gaining a major force to make a move on Solitude when the Emperor arrives. And Ulfric Stormcloak's allowing this guy to come in and check their city out to kind of keep the peace going, so the Dragonborn doesn't get angry or this or that. So he's allowed to explore Stormcloak cities to see if they're safe for the Emperor to arrive. Of course, the Emperor's not going to go there, but he needs to make sure these cities aren't hiding like 100 or 200 troops. And Stormcloaks are still doing what they're doing without getting frisky in the Emperor's arrival. Now, this one was actually much later, to be honest with you. This one's meant to be like under here or so, because this one's after you fail the Emperor's attempt. Now, this one right here, alright, this is kind of where we'll stop the quest. So we get all the way down to here for the first part of, let's say part 1 of the Dark Brotherhood's quest line. Now I could pretty much, I don't want to do part 1s, part 2s like other guilds. I want to kind of do them over time. Like, you'll see maybe Dark Brotherhood chapter 18 is called Morning Never Comes. So I might even have these quests marked as just chapters in my story. So it's not like part 1, part 2. Because those other characters, they started before Skyrim. I don't want to get too much of that. I'll rattle on for fucking hours. So, chapter 1 finishes, or let's just say, there's 3 parts to this quest line. This character's story. It takes breaks. This one right here. And the peace treaty finally comes, between the Dragonborn, which could be a year later because the Civil War's still raging. The Dragonborn's not even known by now. Boom, you've killed her. And then it goes all the way to here. Or sorry, this one right here, where the Dark Brotherhood has failed in killing the Emperor, and the Pentilius Oculatus have assaulted the Dark Brotherhood sanctuary. Now, the reason why this to happen is because the Dragonborn is going to meditate while the peace treaty, while she's hunting dragons and while she's learning words of power. She's going to meditate on the one inside of Dark Brotherhood Sanctuary. Now, she can't walk in there if the Dark Brotherhood is still there. She can only walk in there when they're all gone, when they've been defeated. Now, when this happens, obviously they don't die, right? They don't die. But everyone thinks they're dead. Everyone thinks the Pentilius Oculatus wiped out the Dark Brotherhood. And they're keeping their heads under, because they haven't got really a sanctuary anymore. The Dawnstar Sanctuary is nowhere near for sort of like living space, and by the time we finish the main quest, it is, because it's been a lot of time. It's been a year. They've had time to repair it, fix it, and make it livable. And they've been doing small jobs like bounty hunter missions to kind of keep themselves unknown, because they're not yet ready to reveal themselves, and that could be years away. The Dark Brotherhood is ready to return. But they failed their mission, and they're now slowly hiding and rebuilding and trying to recover. Right before we go on another massive break, and by now the Dragon Wars are done, the Civil War's done. It's the end of the game, pretty much. And the Emperor's coming to Skyrim to basically say, congratulations on the 5th week, because in my game, the Empire wins. So he's coming to congratulate the soldiers for their victory in bringing law and order back to Skyrim, and also visit his dead cousin. Now, everyone thinks the Dark Brotherhood's gone, but when they hear the Emperor's return to Skyrim, the Dark Brotherhood basically sends out a letter to the Montier, and he returns to Skyrim to find they're not actually dead and that they're willing to finish the job. And Emperor's up there giving his speech, blah blah, done all that, visit his cousin, he's returned to his boat. They're about 15-20 minutes from taking off and heading back to Cyrodiil, where basically the Dark Brotherhood is now back on the contract, and the contractor has basically gone under the water and climbed up the sail, or climbed up the anchor, and have now boarded the vessel to kill the Emperor, which is endgame content. Why is it endgame? Because when Beyond Skyrim comes out, the quest line of that one will lead the Emperor into actually dying, if it's by your hands or not. So if you don't complete the main sort of Dark Brotherhood quest line, you'll be cut off from it. If you continue the Beyond Skyrim storyline, because he dies in that storyline. If you don't do it with the Dark Brotherhood beforehand, you can't do it. So I'm going to do it here, and eventually when that mod comes out, which could be 2 or 3 years away, 4 years away, who friggin' knows, you know, the contractor has killed him, and the new chapter of Beyond Skyrim can start for either new characters and previous characters like the ones that are still alive, pretty much. Now, this is kind of like the whole the mind fuck that's going on in my head of why this is happening, and like it's complicated because this is a story that's meant to be done in like maybe an hour or 2 or 3 or 4, right, from a single player Dragonborn's perspective. But I got to juggle a shit ton of other stories, the friggin' the Dragon War story, the Civil War story, other guild stories, and then this story, which, like I said, I've got to like cut it into 3 different segments. I've got to have this one, you know, and this isn't just like a day one sort of execution. I mean, this is you find out Montiel wants the Emperor dead, but he's not planning to come to Skyrim anytime soon because there's a civil war going on. So you try to speed up by killing his cousin, so he comes to visit his cousin, but you find out that she's not going to get bloody married, you know, or she's pretty much, you know, you could easily kill her on the streets. That's easy, but it needs to be a public display. That's the whole idea of it. But you don't find that she's not getting married anytime soon because there's a civil war going on, and she's not to get married for like another 6 more months if the civil war doesn't happen, if it's ended or if it's still going in Solitude. But you know, it's just the civil war. So they just, you know, the Brotherhood's out there killing people, random contracts, and all that sort of good stuff. Far out. And then the Civil War peace line happens, and then they finally decide, yep, let's get married while we have the chance. While the Imperials and Stormcloaks can kind of unite. My family being the Stormcloak family as the Snowshed family, and Victoria with her family being the Imperial family. Kind of like they can be in a wedding without trying to slit each other's throats or anything like that. And then basically it starts up this bit right here, all the way to, this is like, this is peace treaty between the Dragonborn. This is before the Dragonborn is even known. Right here. And this, well, this one only. This right here is after the Dragonborn's quests are all done, and after Civil War's quest is all done. So this could be the space of like maybe 2 years after he's arrived into Skyrim. So it's just a matter of trying to put it all together and make it fit so it doesn't add a big, what do they call that, plot hole into the story that I'm trying to make. And this is what I had to figure out, and I was able to figure out by reading this, which is good, because this is going to be an awesome character. I'm a morally good dude. I'll do what has to be done. This guy's an asshole though. I mean, this quest line right here, I hate that one. I don't do it because I'm like, nah, it's wrong, dude. This girl had no idea. You know, she's just angry. I see it from a reasoning of myself, but as a person creating a story, for creating a character, I have to jump into that character and play that character. And he doesn't care who you are, what you are, old, young, sick, rich, healthy, whatever. There's a contract in your head and there's gold to be made. His entire being is killing people, as you know, getting paid for a reward. He brings death. And you know, I got to like pretty much seduce a young, beautiful Nord girl. That sister was recently murdered within a year or so, a twin sister, and I've got to, you know, seduce her, sleep with her, murder her, and then you find out when you come back that her mother, you know, has already lost a daughter, has lost now her second daughter, commits suicide in her own home. It's a dark fucking story. Like, it's a dark quest, man. But my dude doesn't care about your feelings or anything like that. He doesn't give a shit. He's like a Terminator pretty much. Once there's a contract in your head, he will terminate. There's nothing stopping him. So that's where we're going to go with this one. Well, I really hope someone's actually enjoyed me ranting like this, because this is kind of the thing that boils into my head when I'm thinking of how do I time and put characters in. So you could see him in a couple more chapters, kind of him introducing into Skyrim, how he gets that little dagger right here. And there's a couple of quests he'll do before he even joins the Dark Brotherhood, and they involve daggers. And, well, Daedric princes, really. Before he finds himself in his Windhelm and overhears a certain child and a certain Dark Elven woman talking to each other about a certain other child that's done a certain ritual, which will lead him to doing what he does best, taking a job, fulfilling it, and meeting others that serve the Reaper. So, yeah, Anyway, I'm done talking, man. I'll rant for friggin' ages. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you've enjoyed this little mind-boggling fucking spit roast in my head, leave a comment. And if you want to learn more, I don't really care, really. Man, honestly, if you found this interesting and you want to find out questions boiling in my head, hopefully I can answer them. If not, then I hope you've enjoyed this video. If it wasn't for you, too bad. You've listened to me this entire long... Yeah. Anyway, I'm really shit with goodbyes. My mind's still rattling at 1,000, hertz a second, so I'm just going to stop this video right now. And if you do have a question, leave it down in the comments. Wow. I ranted for way too much for this one. Anyway, have a good one, guys. Catch you later.